Hi, everyone. So come on in. We're going to get you all started. Oh, hi, Lauren. Lauren's like, why can't I get in? I was like, I haven't started live streaming yet. I'm going to add you in here. I'll let everybody else get situated. And I'm sending you the invite to be a speaker. I know it is a very wild and different day for many people today. Oh, hi, Lauren.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I know. What a way to, to have a day, right? Am I right?
We're just gonna power through. We're doing this.
We are powering through. I know. There's not much to say about that, but I do have to say that I am very grateful for having this community today where we can just give each other all just one really big hug and be present for each other. And I know a couple people have said that they're going to focus on this community so that they can just be in this space together today. So that's what we'll do today.
Yep.
So I want to take a little time to talk about a really fun mastermind that we have going on. And Lauren here, if you all haven't met Lauren yet, which she's everywhere, so you should have by now, but if you haven't, Lauren heads up our brand partnerships for Wanderful. So she is, if you've been to WITS before, or if you've seen any of the creator campaigns that we've been running, she is the woman behind the scenes making so much of that happen. So she's advocating for everyone in our community to get paid brand deals, to build partnerships, to grow their business. And I'm just so grateful for all of the work that you are doing, Lauren, because I know how hard it can be sometimes too, and how much you're constantly not just, selling partnerships, but also advocating for these voices and making sure that they're being heard. And that's not always easy. One thing that we had been talking about as we do more in 2025 to really support and amplify all of the content creators in our network is really helping us get to a place where not only are you building your following or your readership or your audience, but also making sure that you have the tools that you need in order to get into a place of building whatever kind of career out of this you want it to be, but making sure that your ability to understand your own value and pitch properly is not what's limiting you. That you have all the support and all the resources. And so I know as everyone is coming on in, and feel free to come and say hi in the chat. I know we love to do that. I know it's a live stream, but also feel free, this is everyone's time to ask questions and, anything that you want to know. But the idea is to really talk through the concept of this new mastermind series. So Lauren, do you want to give us a little bit more of an overview of what this sponsorship pitching mastermind is? And what people might expect from it coming in January?
So I think the first thing that's exciting about this is I know as a lot of us are, solopreneurs and kind of building our content creator business on our own. And, that's why this community is really special. But when it comes to, the paid side and getting paid for your work, and I've talked to so many women who often are like, oh, well, I'm not sure because, my following isn't this yet, or my, and there's this kind of need for support around that. And I think also it gets a little lonely when you're, working for yourself and trying to show your value to people and, convince people to essentially pay you for these different things. It gets a little frustrating and gets lonely, and you're kind of like, what am I, you send 100 pitches out and nothing happens, or only a few things happen, and you're like, what's going on here? So that's really, in my opinion, what this mastermind is about. It's the support of, okay, we're all in this kind of industry together. We're all trying to, rise together and make money. I mean,
yeah,
we got to make money here. So you know how I am on our calls. So, I'm basically here to help everybody on any pitches they're working on, or if they haven't even started a pitch yet and are, I don't know how to show my value, and really like put a concise pitch together to hopefully get somebody's attention to respond to me. So I think, the first thing to expect is that kind of having somebody who's doing this all day long, being able to kind of help look through what you're working on and maybe how we can improve it. And not just myself, but the community, like all of us. That's why it's a mastermind, right? It's all of us kind of chiming in to help each other refine our pitch and how we're presenting ourselves and how we're showing our value really out there. Because I think, I've worked with some women, some, really successful creators, and I'm looking at how they're presenting themselves. And I'm like, but you didn't even say that you did XYZ or, this and that. So I think this will be a really great way to come together, not feel so alone in the process. Hey, does anyone have any suggestion on how I can improve this? Or I have this dream partnership that I want and I don't know how to present myself. So I think what we're going to do is month over month, have everyone submit, not everyone, but whoever wants to submit a deal, a pitch. So we'll start there, a pitch, or just a deal. Maybe they're negotiating and aren't sure, like, what do you think of these terms? Or, I don't know, I'm not feeling great about this. What do you think I should counter with, or pricing, anything like that, that's going to help you essentially land a deal. I think we're going to try to look at, and correct me if I'm wrong, Beth, at least one per month, and have people send in what they're working on, and we'll kind of randomly choose one to kind of present to the group and mastermind it together. Yeah,
exactly. And I think that the format will look just like that. I think the status. So actually, one thing I want to say, because you had mentioned some of the terms. This is not a legal session. We're not going to be going into like contract law or, any of that kind of thing. Really, this is like getting feedback. I think sometimes when you're in the middle of, maybe you want to pitch yourself for a campaign, or maybe somebody's already approached you and said, hey, we want to invite you on this paid press trip, or we want to have you be a brand ambassador, or we want you to review this product or whatever. And like, at least for me, sometimes I just need to bounce this off of somebody else to say like, okay, well, I'm thinking of maybe I should do, 2 Instagram posts and a story and a live stream. How does that set? Like, is that too much? Am I offering too much of myself? Am I not offering enough? So I think this is a chance for us to really just give one another feedback and focusing on, again, one deal per month. We could always do more if there's more time, but really just honing in on, if you drop in the comments before the event, hey, I'm really interested in being in the hot seat this month. And then that month you'll be able to present, this is the thing that I'm working on. This is what I'm really struggling with. And you'll be able to get some of Lauren's feedback, but then also feedback of other people in the group of, have you considered this activity, or have you considered this price point? And I think all of that is very helpful, not just because it is nice to have somebody bouncing those ideas off of, but also because I think in this industry, there is a real lack of a baseline. Like, a lot of people just have no idea, and not just creators, but on the brand side too, like no idea how much to pay or how much to charge for these services. And that's one thing that we're really trying to do a little bit more with Wanderful, with like our creator pay spreadsheet that I hope you all have filled out, because we're really building that out. The creator pay spreadsheet, which is in the creator hub, there's a form you can fill out that has how much do you charge for things, really transparently and anonymously, so that then we can aggregate all that data and release a report to help each other figure out how much should I be charging. But I think there's so much lack of information that's out there on what value am I offering and what should my brand partner expect. And I honestly think that that's part of the reason why influencers don't always have the best reputation, because these brands are going in with different expectations than the creators. And so this is really helping us to say, okay, let's sit down, let's really discuss this as a group and talk about what is the project that you're working on? How are you pitching yourself right now? What value do you realistically think that you can offer? Are you charging enough for it? And kind of breaking that down together and giving ourselves a sounding board. And Lindsay just added, I love this spreadsheet. I knew I had reasonable prices, but did not realize I was probably vastly undercharging. Yeah, it's great to see it side by side. And right now I know all of our creators have access to the raw spreadsheet. And once we're really shooting to get 100 responses by December. So that's something we'll be pushing out a lot more. And I would encourage you all to share. That spreadsheet is actually open to everyone. It's a publicly accessible form. The form is publicly accessible. So share with anyone in your network and encourage them to put in their numbers too. And then we'll actually do an analysis and we'll create a document that has, okay, based on the information that we've collected, here's where we're landing, which can hopefully help you with some of those negotiations. But yeah, it's very good. Anyway, Lauren, I know I talked through like a million different points here, but yeah. I think this is such an important topic, not just for ourselves and getting ourselves to a better place, but also just for an industry and establishing some expectations and baselines that are going to help each other out for future conversations too.
And I think just talking about, through as the months go on and where we're at in the year and talking about like, when is the best time to pitch things and understanding different companies like fiscal years. We were talking about that the other day and just kind of an overview of the industry itself and how sometimes it feels frustrating because you might be working with or talking to or pitching to somebody who's only working on earned media and kind of just like understanding the landscape too of like how it's all working behind the scenes and that there's so many different pieces of the kind of marketing puzzle on, through different destinations and brands and whatnot. So like kind of understanding that too, I think is going to be an interesting part of the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be like, honestly, I think this will be one of the most valuable parts of your Wanderful Creator membership, to be truly honest, which is literally in no other place do I know can you just have like a sales consultant in your pocket for free or for whatever you're paying per month for your creator membership, which is like nothing, for free, who can kind of say, hey, have you considered this? Or, hey, are you talking to, and to your point, sometimes it's not even, it has nothing to do with the product that you're offering or the pricing. It might just be the time of year. It might be the person you reached out to and what their role is. It might just be what their focus is that year and having a better understanding of it. And so I think beyond just workshopping different people's projects, I expect, because I think it's just going to flow out of you naturally, that there's going to be some really nice little tidbits and takeaways that we can all learn in that process too, of just like, hey, now we're approaching end of year. A lot of people that are on the fiscal year that matches their calendar year are probably looking at releasing a little bit of their budget. So keep that in mind, and just little things like that I think and are part of your day-to-day life, that now we can really broaden this and open it up to our community and make this information much more accessible.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
That's so exciting. So the mastermind starts in January, right? I think we decided that.
Yep.
It is I'm double checking exactly when, because I know we went back and forth, but I think we were talking about like the third something. Hold on. I'm looking right now to see.
Why can't I remember this? Was it this?
We're all like, when is it? We're in this live stream right now talking about it. And when is it? Hold on. It is the 21st. Yeah. So we're doing the third Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
And it's at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's hosted on Google Meet. So there is a link in there that you can access, and you just join in there. It is, because it's a mastermind, it is what I like to call cameras on, mics on, which means you don't have to have your camera on. You don't have to have your mic on. You participate in the way you feel comfortable. But the idea and the expectation is this isn't just like a passive live stream that you're consuming. You're in the group. You're part of it. You're participating. Hi, Nalia. She's like, I'm here, better late than ever. Always better late than ever. And you'll all have access to this recording. But for the masterminds, we do not record anything that's done over Google Meet. Anything that's a mastermind, we don't record it for privacy reasons. We want people to feel comfortable asking questions that they might think of are silly questions, and just being open with each other. And so it is really important that if you do want to come to these masterminds, that you do what you can to come live, because they're not recorded. Only this live stream right now where we're talking about it is. Everything else is going to be, once it's gone, it's gone.
And participate, and it's meant to be collaborative. You know, everybody helping each other out, not just, you know, me with the camera on and no faces seeing.
Right.
It's
not
so
office hours with Lauren.
Yeah.
Although Lauren can lead and facilitate that, and I'll join for the first couple ones too to help with that. But right, it's not just going to be like Lauren looks at your thing and gives her feedback. It's like, we can all help each other. All of us have been in this position in some way, whether or not even in our creative careers. Maybe it's just in another career that we've had it over our lives, that we can talk about past experience and what we've learned. And Lindsay has a great question in the chat too. Will it be really obvious how to submit pitches for the future masterminds? So that is a great question. Yes, we will make it really obvious. That's the first answer. The second is, I actually think, at least in the beginning, we're going to make it really, really simple, which is just, if you want to be in the hot seat, send Lauren a DM and just say, hey, Lauren, I'm working on this project. Is there a spot open? And if we get to a point where there's a lot of requests, we can start having like some sort of form or something. But we also know how fast moving this environment is, you know, so sometimes, like right now, whatever pitches you're perfecting in January are probably not going to be relevant anymore. So this is going to be a little bit like a few days before the mastermind. Lauren will probably put a call out and say, hey, is anyone interested in being in the hot seat? You know, let me know. And then you can either reply to that post or you can just DM her, and we'll just pick one or two to focus on for that month.
Yep.
Are the future dates scheduled yet? Yes. Right now, all of them, it is set to recur on the third Tuesday of every month. So you can actually, in the live stream, let me show you this so that you can see. There's like some fun tricks in my new network here. So you can see this mastermind right here, sponsorship pitching. And you can, first of all, add it to your calendar. That's something I always love to do. But then you can also see all events. So if there's only like a couple of them that you know you can attend, you can already sign up for them. And you see how this one says like 7 going? That means that 7 people here have automatically RSVP'd to all. So the first time that you RSVP, it will actually ask you, are you RSVPing for just this one, or are you RSVPing for all of them? And if you RSVP for all of them, then you're going to be on the guest list and you'll get the reminder for all of them, but you can also just pick one. And so, and then also, because clearly these are, I mean, they're literally recurring. Look, this is like April 2026. We'll see how long we actually continue them. And of course, we reserve the right to adjust as schedules go. You know, conference season is around the corner. I know Lauren has her thing. So we'll make sure that you know in advance if anything is rescheduled. But for now, we just have it as a monthly placeholder so that you can plan on it and expect it. And so that's third Tuesday. Good point on timeliness for a late Jan analysis. What pitches should we even be looking at? Oh, this is Lindsay, good question. Like, is Valentine's Day timely, or Easter, or should we already be looking at summer travel? Lauren, what do you think about that? Like in mid to late January, what kinds of pitches do you think should be coming out?
So I think that's what's like crazy about the industry and just how this works is you have people looking to work on deals like 2 weeks before, you know, for example, we'll use Valentine's Day. They have a spot left on their campaign, or like they're still looking to, and they're like scrambling to get that filled or get that done. And then also, you know, I have some partnerships that are literally planned for next June. So it's really, I think it's looking both short-term and long-term. I think January is still fine for the Valentine's Day, Easter, but even like now-ish, if you had a very specific brand, you know, is going to be perfect for like a Valentine's Day focused thing. Because a lot of things aren't going to fit that, right? Especially in travel, like that might not be what a destination is looking for. But yeah, I would say Late Jan for Valentine's, Easter, it's still possible, especially the Easter one. The Valentine's Day one obviously is like a little more last minute. I would say for that, maybe start now.
Yeah, I think that's good feedback. I think for us too, what we've also found is, to your point, like there will always be a last minute need for something, but I feel like the delta between you magically pitching the right person who happens to be needing that last minute thing, like that seems to me unlikely that you're gonna like hit this magical world of you happen to pitch it in January and that person also happens to be looking for a last minute fill. So I think usually when that happens, it comes like the other way, like they're kind of blasting out messages to other people and then you're kind of hopping onto it. So I think in terms of like pitching, I like to think about it as just working backwards of, okay, how long, if you're doing a campaign, how long would it take you to confirm that, knowing what you know about email delays, about how long things take to go back and forth. So, if you're sending a few emails and then maybe it takes somebody a week to get back to you, and then it takes you a few days to put together some ideas, and then it takes them another few days to get back, that's probably already 3 weeks of just sort of
takes a long
discussing. Time. Yeah. So like I would probably be looking at March, honestly, in January. I think like Women's Month for us with Wanderful is a critical time. So we would be looking at like, okay, what does March, you may also, I think people are already thinking about summer, if you're pitching yourself for a press experience or for coverage on some summer travel that you're doing, getting ahead of the game, like do them a service and say, you don't even have to think about summer right now because I've already thought about it for you and here's my idea, and now all you have to do is say yes. So I would probably go a little farther out from pitching.
I agree with that. And also like something to think about is the person you might be pitching this is like the first time that they're probably hearing about you or like getting any sort of information about you. So, it might take multiple follow-ups and multiple touch points for them to even open it or look at it. And I'm thinking about an example, like for anyone who's like in, sustainability or like adventure travel or like very focused around sustainability, like Earth Day, making sure that you're pitching really far in advance so that you kind of are getting on people's radar before that time comes around. So that when that pitch comes, it's not just the first time that they're like hearing your name or seeing your work.
Yeah. And I think a couple things that will be good too is that, of course, this mastermind is not going to be the be all end all of getting a brand partnership. There's so much more to do, including building a really good media kit and like making sure that your posts are on point. And I have also been talking with Akemi and Hema about setting up some workshops that we can do in the beginning of next year that are like how to get your media kit ready to go, how to do that 30-second verbal pitch that you're going to need to do at WITS if you're coming to WITS in New York. So I think there's more steps to this process as well. I see a couple comments in here of like just starting out, figuring out how to do this. I think there is a conversation to be had that we might scratch the surface of in this mastermind, but might be worth like a webinar of its own. It's like identifying your own value and just figuring out like, what are your price points? Like if you could create your own menu of services, just having an idea of where you're landing. And I also think that there's a lot of, and this is a totally personal opinion, but I think that there is a lot of like, yes, you should charge more and like you should never accept a free partnership. And
I disagree. Yeah.
Sometimes that is true if you have like a massive following and you've never done a paid partnership before. Yeah, for sure. You probably should start charging, but also sometimes you just need to do the work to build the portfolio or to build the resume or to get a connection that gets you to the next thing. And there's no shame in that. So I also don't want there to be like, that there to be a misunderstanding that we're saying like charge for everything, money everywhere, but really to help you think realistically about this. Yeah.
And I would even say for pitches, what we're working on, I completely agree with that. I actually feel like when people are like saying you should only do something if it's paid. Well, I disagree with that in a way. Obviously we all want to get paid and want to get paid fairly for our work. But there are some opportunities that come up that are really incredible kind of resume builders. And I have done lots of that kind of thing to kind of like build myself up, you know, if we're talking when I was more focused on like content creation and whatnot. I don't think there's any shame in that. In fact, I think you can use that as leverage for future paid partnerships and use those as case studies. So I also think it doesn't have to, if somebody's, you know, working on something that is an unpaid partnership, you still have to negotiate what the deliverables are, and it's still a negotiation. So I don't think that should be like off the table. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And Michelle asked in the comments about sites where brands post calls for pitches or campaigns they're looking to run. Some of those do exist. And I know that's something that we're trying to do more of at Wanderful here too, is like identifying opportunities and posting them. And if you look in the Creator Hub now, Akemi is usually posting those under the opportunities hashtag. So just search, if you go on highlighted hashtags and you find opportunities there, you can just click on that and see every post that she's tagged as an opportunity. And that's us kind of funneling some of those things your way. There are websites that it'll be like a subscription service to get these paid gigs. And oh, thanks, Haley. Haley's like, I love these opportunities.
Awesome.
I'm not saying don't do it, because I think some of them can be very helpful, but I also feel like there is a lack of humanity and over transactionality of some of these websites, where it's just like post a gig, looking for a post for like a quick buck. And what you're missing is an opportunity to cultivate a relationship that could build into bigger and more partnerships later.
Totally.
So I just would say, you know, read those mindfully, because they're not always like as cracked up as they seem to be. But also, yes, they do exist, and sometimes they can help you get a couple of those initial gigs for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Clearly we can talk about this forever. So I'm going to
I have 3 more things, but
I know. It's like, we've already been talking for 27 minutes. So we're going to let's leave this here. But if you want more, if you have more questions, as you can see, Lauren and I can talk about this all day. We will see you on January 21st?
Yes.
January 21st, which is Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll be on Google Meet. If you have a partnership or a pitch or something that you're working on and you want to be in the hot seat, we should call it a warm seat, because really, like, nobody's judging you. There's nothing hot about it except that you're just awesome and we want to support you. And so send Lauren a message, or she'll put out a call like a couple days before. Lauren, does that sound good to do like a post? And I hope we see you all there. And of course, if you have any other questions about the mastermind, we are recording this post. We'll put it in the hub. You can always comment on that post and we can answer any questions for you in there. But otherwise, we will see you back here in January, and let's get some more money in the pockets of women who are creating content, right?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you all find time to rest and take a breather today. We're here for you if you need anything. Bye for now.
Bye.